The people that you think are the one are usually the abandonee people.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
feel a high with them because we don't want to feel abandoned. So to not feel abandoned, what we're trying to do is egoically change it. Most people that don't want to feel abandoned find the most unavailable people so that they can fix it. It's what they're saying is, I could change my childhood if I find a person who would abandon me and stop them from abandoning me.
Yes, I feel like I'm always doing that. Oh
Right.
my gosh, it's so frustrating.
Right. Roslin says, I attended your incredible Evolving Out Loud weekend in January. Oh, the magic one. Thank you for holding space for us. So many synchronicities since then. I had this question that weekend and I'm still looking for some clarity. So I have a wonderful relationship and we've been together for a year and a half. It started off beautifully and we became close and deeply connected, except I kept questioning it and I've questioned it on and off. One question I have for you is, what do you mean question it? Like, is this real? Is he gonna fly? Is he a dragon? Like, what are we questioning? It's good, right? So except I keep questioning it. I've questioned it off and on since about 4 months after we started dating. I was all in, he was it, and suddenly this fear came up one day. I thought I could heal this fear and that it would go away, so I've held on. I can't tell if this is attachment, I'm adopted, and I need to let go of, or I need to just keep on healing myself so I can be free in the relationship. I want to call Roslin on. Well, tell me, okay, why don't you go ahead and ask me directly this question so I can really feel it and hear you and hear what you're feeling.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I might get emotional if I can get this out.
Yeah.
I have this relationship and he and I have been really close, and I have this like thing that's in my head that's like, is this right? Is he the one? Is he, or maybe not, or maybe this is too, I don't know. It's just this like questioning that I keep having with the relationship. And truly in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, no questioning. I felt really good that it was like the most clear that I've been in a relationship before. And then just one random day, it was like all of that kind of fear kind of came in, like this isn't it. Maybe there's another person that's better out there for you. Maybe. So it was just kind of that.
If that's the case, could that be okay for a second? Like, maybe this isn't it. Like, have we let that be okay? And what I hear is a vibration of pressure that it has to be this whole long-term thing, which I understand, but it might be putting the cart before the horse here.
Right.
Right. Like that, we're like, a lot of people do this thing where I was actually talking to a client today who was like, she has a job she loves and it's working really well, but she said, I'm trying to figure out where it's all headed.
Yes, that sounds like.
And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, where is mine headed? Like, I don't have some giant plan later. It's because I'm here in this moment. And if I did have a giant plan later, there's a chance I could not be as present here. I could be more in a mission or an agenda, right? So I don't know anything about him or what it is with him, but I'm just wondering if the more we don't have, I need to know this is it forever, the more we can enjoy the moment. And the more we can enjoy the moment, the byproduct is it could last longer. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's not the one? What does that do for you in your body? Like, what does that mean about you? Am I a failure if he's not the one? Does you get what I'm asking? Like,
yeah, I feel like it's like, okay, then I'd go out there again into the dating pool.
well, hold on. That's a solution, but I wonder, in fact, I already know something about you from that, but what would you feel if it's not him? What would you feel? I have something already.
Okay.
Like, but tell me what you would feel.
Just kind of, I guess, like, ooh, like pressure is off, like a little relief, like,
Pressure's off.
okay. And
So there's pressure. Okay.
yeah,
Here's something that's coming up for me. You have pressure in your body because you haven't forgiven a past relationship. Like there's still some holding on to, or
yeah,
judgment about, or regret,
totally.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And because it's weird, because that's kind of what I talked about at the beginning, but
Yeah.
because that's not healed, we're now like, I don't want to have whatever that was again. So I'm going to, because I haven't forgiven it and I'm not just able to gently unfold with this new person, I'm still not wanting that. I'm terrified that this will be that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the pressure,
Mm-hmm.
right? The
Yeah.
pressure is in you. It has nothing to do with him,
Yeah.
right? So you're creating pressure because there's something you haven't forgiven in the past. Do you already know what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
You don't have to, but do you want to share it? Because we could
Yeah.
bring that to light.
Yeah. It was interesting because it was right before this relationship,
Mm,
and it was right during like the first set of lockdowns. I went home and back to, I live in California, but I went back home to Iowa, and I reconnected with an old high school flame. And that was really, and I think that's what is causing this. I just felt so connected to this old flame, and I felt so this strong pull and this strong, like deep emotional, like visceral, like without a doubt, this can last forever kind of feeling. And then it didn't. Like that was kind of me. That was my perspective of it, and it just didn't end up working. And I feel like that's probably the most painful experience I've had in a relationship. I mean, it wasn't even a relationship. It was
yeah.
a quick connection, because then I came back to California, and I met my current boyfriend.
So this relationship before was a guy
Mhm.
from high school. So there was a long history,
Yeah.
right? So he's got a
Mhm.
lot in your cells, right?
Right.
When it didn't work with him, how much did you get to release and accept and be with and forgive and release that?
I did release. I released some.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely released, because there was a part of me that was just doing the insane cry, and a
Uh-huh.
part of me of an actor. And I was like, ooh, this is a new deep level. This is a
Uh-huh.
new low. You can use this now.
Yeah.
Um, so I know I released some, but it was pretty, I would say, like a few months after that where I kind of started yeah, when I met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said I released some, which
Mm-hmm.
tells me you know there's more, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know there's more. Like it's an amazing how much we know. And by the way, for everyone watching, this is a great reason why it's fine whatever we do, but bouncing from relationship to relationship, there's can be a thing where we didn't quite finish
Yeah.
the last relationship. It's not even the last relationship. If you've known him since high school, it could be also releasing a lot of your attachment to him that you've had since you met him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also releasing the you that had that attachment. You're not releasing him as much as you're releasing you, the
Mm-hmm.
you that would have wanted to be with him, the you that, and that brought all this hope to it too. There was, this is the
Yeah.
one. This means so much. This means a big thing. Now, I understand we all want to feel safe in the relationship, and I'm not dismissing that, but I hear an energy that goes, I feel so good in this right now that I'm going to try to grab it and make it future.
Yeah.
And we all do that. That's what falling in love is in a way. But at the same time, the shadow to that is you trick yourself into thinking that a feeling is permanent and under your control when it's a passing cloud, right? You're feeling excited about something and this feels good, but our job is to get really present with the feeling and enjoy that it's here, but not go, how do I capture this feeling and make it forever? Oh, I know. It's if he's the one.
Yeah.
Because now if he's not the one, then I have to not feel this feeling and feel usually the pendulum opposite of it. I'm going to feel a low. I'm going to feel a darkness. It'd be like winning a slot machine, winning $1 million, and right away going, oh my God, this slot machine better be with me forever and it better win every day. And it's like, wait, we forgot to enjoy the win now, right? And enjoy the feeling that we're feeling right now. We're trying to own the feeling, control the feeling, right? So with him, you got to have an experience and the illusion of the one, right? I'm not saying there isn't someone that you will be with forever, but I want you to think of it as putting the cart before the horse. Be willing to go into it. Like, yeah, make sure there's things in place. Like if he's a horrible person, that's not it, right? Like but like ask your body, does he feel good today? Does he feel safe today? Does he feel like he cares about my feelings? Or does the things that you want, do they fit today? It's because we almost don't even notice today if we're in that long-term goal, right? But what I feel is the guy before, when you released him, you know that was some. So I picture like if there's a container of releasing, right? What would you say? Half is out?
Half.
Half. Perfect. Okay. Half.
Taste
So yeah, exactly. Awesome. So if half is out, that means before we look at this next relationship, there's still a second half in your body that hasn't forgiven you or if it hasn't like, and by the way, you know what, when we get to half, when we were kids, this is something I've talked about a few weeks in a row now that I'm going to bring up here because it could fit really well with you. When you were feeling things that were really difficult when you were a child, you feel something, it's like a volcano, but then to stop the volcano, sometimes the mind kicks in and has to do something. Usually for many of us, especially empaths, we blame ourselves, right? My dad left because I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy, right? So this not worthy thing is suddenly tied to, I'm trying to not be abandoned by my dad again. All right, whatever the thing is, I'm giving a random example.
Yeah.
So for your half to happen, you cried out half, and then we got the second half. Now, what's the pattern that you do to block the rest of it from coming out? Is it, I go to something, I go on a mission, I go to alcohol, I'm just giving examples, I go to shame and blame, like something kicks in egoically that goes, the rest of this is too painful and I'm scared to release all the rest of what's in here because I don't know what I am on the other side of it. So I got to do a bunch of stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? What do you do to prevent the rest of it from coming out?
I feel like I'm a really good, like I divert the attention. So I'm like, I don't really, I don't know. I just, part of it is yeah, when you were talking about abandonment, I mean, I can totally resonate with that. So I feel like I don't want to look at the parts that are shame and humiliation, embarrassment, even like you talked about in the beginning of the call, like there's hate in there, like, or also just like the eye roll at the little, my little kid, like, how could you have been, how could you have thought that it was just, that it was going to work out like that,
Ooh, that sentence. So we're shaming you for not predicting the entire future correctly.
Yes.
Right?
Do that.
So let me ask you this. Why are we predicting the future? What are we protecting from there? Like if it turns out he's not the one, what does that mean about you? You're abandoned again?
Yes.
Okay. So what, you were abandoned as a child, or you at least experienced that you felt abandoned,
Yes, exactly.
right? What happened? Did dad move out or something, or did?
No, I was adopted. And so
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
yeah,
And do you associate adopted as abandonment?
I have come to sort of understand, sort of feelings of being as a baby, that that alone time between the adoption and like from when I was born, like there was a time period there where I didn't have anybody with me.
Mm. Take a deep breath in and let's just feel that for a second. Sorry, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I had a surgery, and then so I was with doctors and nurses, but I wasn't allowed to have anybody with me for like 10 days or something. Yeah.
Let's right now be present with that baby. Right? Like, let's be with the baby in the 10 days. Like, can you feel the baby that's abandoned in your body right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is the first time someone's with her,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the abandoned child is like still stored, and
Right.
and tell me something. The guy from high school, do you think he filled, I don't have to feel this abandonment,
Absolutely.
right? So that's why it was so high. Like, I'm over my thing, but we're just covering it up.
Yeah.
This guy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when he left, did he leave?
Yeah, essentially. I left. I was visiting and then I left.
But how did the relationship end? You guys didn't choose long distance, or you just said we don't want to do long distance, or was there like what was the?
Yeah, I guess I was asking for clarity, and he was like, well, I can't give you what, you're interested in. I'm way over here and you're there, and it's just not going to work. So, and I was proud of myself that I said I wanted, these specific things. But that's not something he could give.
Was his vibe fully that he is connected in his body, is fully safe, is a present man that would be a good father?
Um,
There's a reason I ask.
I feel like he was coming towards that. I mean, he already is a father from a different relationship. I think he is good. He is connected. I think that there is some exploration he wanted to do himself about who he really is deep
Did he
down.
tell you any of that first?
He told me that. No.
Did he tell you anything that signaled well, and you knew he was long distance, but that he might not be fully available?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm trying to point out to you. The people that you think are the one are usually the abandonee people.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
feel a high with them because we don't want to feel abandoned. So to not feel abandoned, what we're trying to do is egoically change it. Most people that don't want to feel abandoned find the most unavailable people so that they can fix it. It's what they're saying is, I could change my childhood if I find a person who would abandon me and stop them from abandoning me.
Yes, I feel like I'm always doing that. Oh
Right.
my gosh, it's so frustrating.
Right. I'll tell you something to your ego. A dude that's grounded, that's ready, that's cleared all of the other stuff, that's ready, present, and wants you, probably would bore you.
That's kind of like who I'm dating.
Yes. Okay. That's big, right? Because I don't know anything about him, but
He's met you a couple times, and he went to Evolving Out Loud in person.
It's like my dad.
No.
I'm like, he'll abandon you. That's awesome. So so this is interesting because sometimes the passion you felt for the guy from high school.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, what the heck?
Well, the passion often is the ego going, oh, this is the fix to my ego.
Mm.
That's often like, if we're talking a good 20, 30-year relationship, sometimes that diehard passion, holy
Right.
shit. I mean, where else do you find that passion? When you win the lottery, when you're drunk, when you do a drug, do you get what I'm saying? That
Right.
level of holy shit,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be hard to keep that going for 40 years, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we're trying to capture the passion that we have in the moment and then make it go the long term. But if you want the long term, what we instead got to do is start, first of all, the ego chooses people that it wants to fix so that it can fix the childhood, right?
Yeah.
So the soul, when you start to connect with your soul, this is why meditation is so important, everybody. When you start to connect with your soul, you start to ask, what does the soul want? Right? The ego goes, I don't want to be abandoned anymore. So who would abandon me? I'm going to change them. The soul goes, who would not abandon me? Right? But then you got no challenge. The ego's got nothing to fix.
Yeah.
Right? So the ego's got nothing to fix. This person's actually staying here. They give a shit about my feelings. They care. They're present. I'll tell you something truly I felt when I read your question. This is really what I felt without just reading it. I could be wrong. I don't know him other than meeting him a couple of times. He's a good guy. This is what I felt in your question. He's a good guy. Like he could be a good fit. And the trying to grab him in the long run, right? The wanting the challenge and then the overcoming of the challenge, right? Like these things have got to go. The part of the way we're actually going to heal the abandonment is it doesn't have to be him. I'm not telling you what to do. But we are going to choose someone who's grounded in themselves, who's in town, who is present, who cares about your feelings, who doesn't show signs of just going with the wind. Yeah. Right. And anyone that does that, that's fine. That's not judgment. I'm just saying, if you want to heal the abandonment, we find someone who is less likely to abandon you. And I can tell you right now, the fact that your ego has nothing to fix, that's one thing that for sure is freaking you out about this guy. There's nothing for you to fix. That you're bored because he's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So the ego can't control him into being what it wants, so it's not abandoned. It can't turn him into anything. He's actually got his own grounding, not your ego's idea of grounding. So there's a part of you that can rest. There's a part of you that can finally be there for the abandoned child, because the abandoned child actually probably is like, it's good, it's grounded, it's nice. But the reaction to the abandoned child is going, we got to fix this. And the whole world is like the ego says, just so you know too, the ego also says this is a big one for everyone. The ego thinks the entire world is like your childhood. So it says everyone abandons me. Right? That's probably why, tell me if this sounds familiar, you look for that immediately in everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And then find passion with the ones that do. And find, complacency with the ones that don't. Right?
Yeah.
What do you feel with all that I've just said?
Just like, aha. That like, yes, I feel like I just, even in outside of romantic relationships, there's just this idea that, okay, I got to leave first before someone else beats me to it.
Oh, so you abandon people because they might abandon you. So you do it first.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm not saying, but we're leaving because we're scared they'll leave you.
Yes.
What happens if they leave you? Like, why is that death? I mean, I know why, but like, let's bring that to light.
Yeah.
Let's say this out loud for a second. Take a deep breath in and say this. It's okay if people leave me.
It's okay if people leave me.
Yeah, there might be a feeling there because we've never stopped controlling people from leaving you.
Yeah. It's okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
See, you associate if a boyfriend leaves you the same as death, like I was saying at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So instead, you're going to do it first.
Yeah.
Like to you, it's like two cowboys doing that draw shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to shoot you first, right?
Totally.
But how liberated would you be if it was completely okay if someone left you?
It'd just be so freeing. I feel like I keep like putting myself into these boxes because I need to be this for someone else so that they won't leave.
Yes, yes, yes. So you become a different person.
Yes, with everyone sometimes.
So they won't leave.
Yeah.
And yet when you have someone that won't leave, you get bored.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, maybe it's like I just get bored of myself, or I don't know. Like,
So we're leaving people if they're gonna leave or not. Right? And I don't have any judgment of it. We're just bringing it all to light.
yeah.
Isn't this
Yeah.
exciting to learn? Trust me, the audience is getting so much out of this. I hope you're all looking at yourself because it's not only with abandonment, it's with shame, it's with hate, it's with whatever you don't want to experience from your childhood. You know, we keep bringing it up, right? We do it even. You're looking for, like I've said this before too, but if you're a security guard, you're looking for the bad guys. You're not looking at the thousands of good people. You're looking for the two bad guys, right? Same here. If you're looking to not be abandoned, you're going, okay, who would abandon me? And you could overlook 1,000 good people and find the two that would abandon you for sure.
And then I became an actor. Like, talk about all the rejection.
Hell yeah.
And so
what you're worried about, you walked right into, right? Like, okay, well, because to be a good actor, you have to like not get 9 out of 10 auditions, right? Like,
yeah.
9 out of 10 for a really successful actor that you book 1 out of 10. So you have to get rejected or abandoned 9 out of 10 times. What made you choose that? I mean, obviously there's amazing things about acting, but what in the pattern made you fine with that?
I think initially it started out as like a childhood dream to just want to have this approval by like all of the public, because then whomever it was, whether it be my birth mom, maybe she would see it, or maybe it would be me, my parents, my adoptive parents, they like, it was just proving myself.
So they won't leave you?
What's that?
So they won't leave you?
Yeah.
And so this is how life works. Our biggest fear, life goes, I'm going to have it happen to you over and over and over again until you're fine with it. In fact, I'm going to have you crave it. You crave being abandoned. You know why? So then you don't have to deal, like, it's like your mind's like, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
So I'm going to find abandoners over and over and over again. I'm going to have a job that abandons me. I'm going to have everything. It's like the ego goes, you crave abandonment. So we can crave the thing we don't want over and over and over, everybody. Or we can accept fully that we were, right? And let that inner child be seen. So tonight could be the start of us getting the second half, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you healed the wound with him up until you met him in high school or a little bit after that. But then here's all the abandonment under it that we missed, right? So did we say this? You're allowed to feel abandoned in my body. Could we say that? Even if we said it, let's say it again.
You're allowed to feel abandoned in my body.
Yeah. I want you to be present for that feeling. Tell me what you're feeling right now.
I guess I kind of feel stronger.
Mm. One thing I want to offer you is to not make a decision out of a fear of abandonment
Yeah.
as much as you can ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. So we don't want to preemptively dump someone just because we think they'll abandon us, because there's not even a you deciding, do I want to be with the person now?
Yeah.
It's just, I gotta, right, do this. Right. And by the way, if you're scared of abandonment, a ton of things will feel like abandonment that aren't. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
he's shutting off. He's going to abandon me soon. He didn't return
Right.
my text. He's going to abandon me
Yeah.
soon, right? But it might be he's busy or whatever, or fell asleep.
Right.
So the body will come up with all kinds of everything means abandonment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you meditating every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
This is the core thing that's like deep in your stomach that we want to start being there for,
Mm-hmm.
right? And undo the pressure of the one, right? Instead of deciding, is he the one, which by the way puts it all on your perspective of him and
Yeah.
nothing on you, right?
Right.
What we should do is just have an intention. My intention for my own expansion is something, and then I intend to have a good relationship with myself, and the byproduct can be he's welcome to match that if he's doing his own inner work, too, or whatever.
Right.
And I'm going to practice the enjoyment of the day versus the missing of the day for the arbitrary forever sentence that really I don't know how to even measure it. Is it till someone dies? Is it like, like that forever thing? Is it a failed marriage if it's 20 years? Like, how do we decide for, like, there's a lot of vague long-term pressure that's making you miss the now.
Yeah.
Is that, and so experience more of the now in your meditation and bring that into your experience with him. Right? Like, I'm just having this moment with this guy. Right? Yeah. And undo that. If you don't have the question, which I think comes from abandonment. So that's the thing to discover. Abandonment's asking the question, is he the one?
Yes, totally.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely resonates.
Yeah. Okay. So then we can undo that question and ask this question instead. Does he feel good today? Yeah. And what if you just kept, does this feel good today? And if it went a year and it turns out it doesn't feel good the next day, that's great. That was still successful. You got a year of expansion out of it, whatever. If it goes a week and that happens, that's great. Right? Do you get what I'm doing? We're undoing this pressure that's impossible. And the new planet can't handle questions like that. The new planet that you're on, the new 2022 higher consciousness isn't going, is this the one? And then, because that's abandonment. So instead we bring abandonment to light and we go, do I want to hang out with him today? Does he feel good today? And everyone could do that. You could make your relationship, ironically, last way longer if you every moment are enjoying the now, because if we bury the now, no relationship will be the one. Yeah. Right. The greatest guy in the world for you won't be the one if you're always going, is he the one? Right. Do you get what I'm saying? So we could change our life so much just by going, does he feel good today? And you have the ability to say, no, I don't want this. Or you have the ability to say, hell yeah. Yeah. How does that feel? Does this excite you?
Yeah, because it was just so much with like this question of like, but I don't feel that pressure that I have with the last one, and the last one didn't work. So why, where's the passion here? And it's just ego. And that definitely resonates. And that's searching for this feeling and like just relax.
Yeah. Well, one thing you want to know is that you're safe. Yeah. Right? Because this world doesn't feel safe. Right? For all of us, like all of us want to know, especially, someone who was abandoned and went through all that, the world doesn't feel safe. Right? So another thing we can bring in is the safety of the universe. Like there's a you that egoically is running the show. Yeah. And I would rather you go, the universe is the one,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I want you to fall in love. That I need help thing is perfect for you because you're running the show and finding everyone and running everything and avoiding abandonment. This thing could help heal the abandonment. You and it could merge.
Mhm.
Doesn't that feel good?
Totally. Yeah.
And that's your husband. And then also from that fullness, experience time with someone,
Mhm.
right? Take the more pressure off, the longer it'll last, ironically,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Does this feel good?
Yeah. I feel so much better.
And you marry like this softness to you. So then like he can step up and not abandon you even more because
Right.
you're in surrender and in appreciation and in
Yes.
gratitude and flow and joy and feeling and happiness in the now.
Yeah, because I feel like I've been missing that. I've been lately been like, okay, we need to like spend time on each of our things. You go do your business and I'll work on mine. And like, we
Did you notice when you did that impression, you lowered your voice?
yes,
Okay, we need to. What energy is that?
I feel we need to be serious. We need like
What,
my dad.
the word I'm looking for, like that you turned into
A dictator.
a, a man.
Oh, yes.
It's masculine energy.
Yeah.
Now that's fine if that's your core, but I feel like you have a feminine core.
Hmm.
Do you?
Yeah, but there's a lot of masculine on top of it. I feel like because I feel like that's how I've kind of coped.
Great. But that's the energy on top of it. Some people have a masculine core in their body, and then some people have a masculine, I need to not be abandoned external shell,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's a difference, right? One is in my body, right?
Yeah, and they fight all the time because it's like, I want to do these, like, let's go do this. Let's go. Oh, like tonight, I'm gonna go
Right.
fire spin later. And then sometimes,
Fire spin is a very flowy
yes.
feminine thing. Tell me about fire spinning.
I've only done it 3 times, but it's just been magical. And I just recently did it, and it might have been right after our evolving out loud that Wednesday. I was like, I'm going because had him forever. I need to go light my fans on fire. And yeah, it's just been so freeing to be able to go and to do that and like express myself, even though there were some fears, and even though that might have like given me a scar and maybe not been good for my casting, but like whatever, I've wanted to do this forever.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Whenever you're fire spinning, do you go, is this the only thing I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
No.
Or do you just enjoy the flow of whatever you're doing? You don't even think of the next time you're doing it.
Yeah, enjoy the flow because you can't, you stuff's on fire. I have to be like,
Yeah. But even if you're talking about it like when you're done, do you go,
yeah,
is this the one?
no.
No, you just do your thing.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying don't have intention. I'm not saying, maybe one day you get married, maybe there is this thing. But let's first find the core of you and
Hmm.
bring it out. I think you should be doing the fire spinning and anything that feels similar to it a lot,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
let go of the pressure of the da 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 da. That's
Hmm.
I don't want to be abandoned. So a masculine false the energy kicked in to protect the abandonment,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Get that spinning going and do that flow thing. And
Yeah.
instead of strategizing your relationship, enjoy it and watch what happens to him when you start enjoying it.
Yeah.
When you start appreciating it and playing in it. What comes up for you when I say that? You looked like, shit, enjoy it?
No, I've like remembered different ways that I've been like masculine or, strategizing it lately. And I'm like, oh yeah, it would have been more fun if I would have just kind of lightened up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that by, first of all, being present a lot in your meditations for the fact that you were adopted and had those 10 days. And
Mm-hmm.
any other time you felt abandoned, because those energies are buried in the body and they want to be seen and accepted. And it's going to take deep rooted work for you to find a forgiveness that's at past the level of even where we're at now, that just really understands it, sees it as perfect and loves it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and as that's healed, you will lose a lot of the parts of you that aren't lightening up. Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to start to feel joy. But I want you to make this thing more your intention than the figuring out of what the relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And let the relationship just do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how he shows up and he's there, so you don't make him what you've decided he should be. Right. And
Yeah.
you just play and do your thing and be light and say your feelings honestly and cry in front of him, be open and see what happens to him. If it sounds like you said he met me at my event, so he's doing this work, which is great.
Yeah, he
Right.
totally is.
And so he's going to find more of his core. And as you move into what you truly are, he will too. That's a real purpose in a relationship, for you
Yeah.
guys to help each other find a version of yourself that you actually are, but have never experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And enjoy the safety versus the finding the abandoner and then fixing it. Like, enjoy the safety that it's safe right now.
Mm.
Enjoy that. That's a new element for you,
Yeah.
because that's not home to be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Does this feel good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's also giving me insight on like the whole acting thing too. I mean, I feel like I have been very like, this is how I need to go about doing it. And I love your story as well. I mean, it's been so inspirational, and I feel like you speak my language in that regard. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, what am I doing? But yeah, like flowing in that area too is
Yeah. If you feel like acting for you, do it. But if it's, I got to prove to mom that I'm enough, maybe reconsider, because you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
right.
Right. So it's
Mm-hmm.
what your calling is. On the other side of the healing of that abandonment, you're going to hear what you desire,
Yes. Yes.
because you're not
Absolutely.
stopping leaving guys from leaving. You're just going to hear what you desire. And there's so much magic in that.
I'm working on a one woman show with my clown instructor. He's in England, and
Wow.
it's just that's like there's so much truth and authenticity, and it's just like the best thing. And I feel like that's where I need to spin fire and just be a clown and chill in my relationship. I got it. I got it.
This is really good. I don't mean to stop you, but I want to do even more with it.
Okay.
Tell me about just being present and being lost. Tell me about how this year in 2022, you started a new level of just being in the unknown, being okay with being abandoned, seeing this girl. Do you get what I'm saying? If that calls to you, maybe if I don't want to lead the witness too much, but
um so but I completely resonate with that, and I tend to do that, so thank you. um it I really feel like I was starting to I shone light on a lot of dark places that I was afraid to see, and it was really scary because I'm such a happy person, and I don't know that a lot of people really, I didn't know how they would react. And I guess I was always afraid of, if I show this to myself, like what will other people think? But then I realized that that's just sort of some judgment that I still have. And I said, it's okay. And so that was a big thing. It was a really big turning point where I said, no one else has to see it. It's just you and me. And that's all it ever has to be. So that it was a lot. It was just day by day doing that, being there. And it was some days I really felt like, oh gosh, this is heavy stuff, really heavy. And some days there were a lot of heavy days, but I allowed that heaviness to be there and remembered that, like, it's that maybe my perspective was originally like, okay, we can heal this and then it will all be gone. But that I realized that the truth of the matter is that it can be there still.
Take a deep breath in. I'm just going to add one thing. I just remember this in 2022, you becoming the soulmate for that inner child.
Yes.
I remember you being fine with being abandoned, meaning externally you being like, they can go because it's me and you. And you opening this thing up. That tear is symbolic of you opening this thing up. It's available. And I promise your acting got better, your shows got better, all as a byproduct of this connection right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember 2022 being the most soul opening, magical, present, amazing year of your life. And you let go of that part of you that had to do it right, that had to do the show, that had to get the right guy, that had to not be abandoned, and just surrendered to the now on a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
And we found a new love for that abandoned girl, and she was seen for real.
Yeah.
How you feel?
I just feel like I'm so slithery. I like,
Ooh, you see it.
What?
That you can see that you're slithery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honest. And that's a great, like, you know, when people call out their patterns, right? It's already gone. It's going, right? You see the slitheriness, so you'll be it less and less. You're going to be present to it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could see that, because you also are very present, and then you can go into the show, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we're so honest to say that there's no shame or judgment in it. We can point that out to see it. You can look at a habit, everybody, and not shame it. It's just like, oh, there's slitheriness. I didn't see. It's an exciting revelation.
Slytherin.
Right? Yeah, but I want you to know this call was profound. Like this, there was so much that came out of this.
Wow.
You're amazing. That was a beautiful call. I loved having you on tonight.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.